Good morning, everybody. Welcome. It's me, Mitch. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. A little late, but better late than never. 10 o'clock today and tomorrow. Good to see you all, and as usual, my friends, drink it if you got it. And I thought I'd show you a little of the chat rolling away first thing early on here as we get started. Oh man, good to see you all. Good to see you all. 57 people here right at the bell. Good to see you. Went to Sam's Club this morning. Yes, I did. Went to Sam's Club this morning. And if you look over there at the right at the chat and you see that red splotch, it's Aunt B's comment. If you want to grab my attention, type at OldGuyCarnivore before your message, and it'll light up red on my screen. Now, don't do that for everything, because then I'll be looking over there all the time. But if it's pressing, if you've got a question, life and death, grab my attention. Grab my attention with that at OldGuyCarnivore. I know it's. If you're not on a computer, or if you're on a cell phone, it's a lot of typing. If you're on a computer, you can type at OL and then it'll pop up and you just click on it and it'll type it in there for you. But that's a nice little trick. Some people use it. Aunt B used it this morning. See, Turamir, Tuka used it. And this is what the chat looks like over here on my window on the side. I'm not going to leave it up there. Just wanted you to see that. Wanted you to see a little of that when we first started out. So let me switch back over to the bigger me. And it is the coldest morning of the year this morning here. It was in the 40s out there when I went to Sam's Club. I'm bundled up in this warm sweatshirt. I had a knit cap on, and it was an adventure. It was an adventure. Before I start talking about my adventures and my show notes that I always have handy here, let me say hi to some of the people in the pre-chat. I didn't actually get a chance or get around to creating this stream until about, after 10 o'clock last night. I'm looking over at Rumble right now. I'm live on Rumble, but I don't see anybody in the chat. See 8 people over there. Usually Mike Seeley Sr. and Jr. check in, but I'm sure somebody will show up. It is live, however, on Rumble. First one in last night at 10 o'clock, which had to be the middle of the night. Holy cow. 11 o'clock at night. Well, I guess it was first thing in the morning for Tuka. Tuka says, good morning. And then Tuka went on talking about the fact that he kind of volunteered to be a moderator last night, and I think I hurt his feelings, but we're going to talk a little bit about that. I have it in my show notes to talk about how I view moderators and why I hesitate to do that. There's a lot of reasons. I've been around YouTube for a long time. In the drone community, we pretty much made everybody a moderator. We gave them a blue wrench. That made them feel like they were special. That's not the purpose of a moderator, and I swore I was never going to do that on this channel. We'll talk about that. Stickman's Garage chimed in last night. Lady June chimed in last night. Oh, let me go over this a little bit. Yeah, last night we had a live stream, and Tina Schweigerath came on, and wow. Not only did she give me one of the greatest compliments I've ever received, brought tears to my eyes and everybody else's when she told her story, but what that poor woman has been through and how carnivore has changed her life is nothing short of dramatic at the least. Incredible. Thanks, Tina. Thanks for coming in and meeting everybody and letting us know who you are, what you've been through. And it's completely reinforcing to know that this lifestyle can work such miracles. Amazing. Anyway, Lady June is here. Aunt B was here last night. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, Aunt B again, Aunt B. We're live in 9 hours. And 1 o'clock in the morning, Stickman's Garage is still there. Feral Grandma, 2 o'clock in the morning. Holy cow. Cliff Medina up at 4. I was up at 10 minutes to 4 this morning. Wow. And when I wake up, I'm up. There's no sense me laying in bed. I just spring out of bed, whatever time it is I happen to get up. And this morning it was 10 minutes to 4. It's like half a day's going by already. Gary Azamendi. Wow. He's out on, he was like, that's 2 o'clock in the morning out there in California where he is. And 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, Juan Manuel from Chile chimed in. Buenos dias, Mitch. Buenos dias to you. 612 Sharpie Aquatics. Wayne Herman chimed in. 6:45, Granny Boo 2. And there's Mike Seeley. How you doing, Mike? Good to see you. Chimed in at 6:58. Patty Molden chimed in from Colorado. Early in the morning out there in Colorado. Good to see you. And Mike Seeley Sr. not far behind. 8 o'clock this morning. Marla Kelly chimed in. Waiting for 10, I guess. Scotter chimed in. Michael Pregler chimed in. And Tanya, good morning, Tanya. Wednesday is my Monday. We'll miss you guys. Well, we'll miss you too, Tanya. See you tomorrow. Scott Evans says good morning all. And Wanda Gerling says hi to everybody. Looks like sunshine and cold temps today. Yep, it's going to get up into the low 60s today, so it won't be as bad as it has been. But we've got a big-ass cold front coming across here. I think over the weekend or early next week. At any rate, it's supposed to be a big cold front. So we're not done with this cold weather yet. Not in the least little bit. Thomas Pruitt, how you doing, Thomas? Good to see you. And Tina's here with us this morning. Good morning, Tina. Thank you for letting me talk with us. Oh, Tina, it was our pleasure. That's the purpose of these things. And that really cements each of us that kind of tells our story as a real pillar of this community that we have here. So thank you. And I encourage more and more people to come into these things when we have them. And let us get to know you. Bob Black says, good morning. How you doing? Anna Kurzawa is here. Peter chimed in. We're going to have a way to go before I think I get to 9 or 10 o'clock. But I'm at almost 9 o'clock now. Trina Mitchell thought she was late. But you weren't late. Robbie Autry, how you doing? And Meatup is here from Los Angeles, which is now on fire, I see. Wow. Did you see the news? Do you see what's going on in Malibu? All those oceanfront homes are burning up and they're evacuating. I think I heard tens of thousands of people have to evacuate because of the Santa Ana winds. And of course, the climate alarmists are trying to make a huge deal out of it. But, you know, this is the worst Santa Ana wind, the newscaster said, that we've had in over a decade. Well, if you had winds this bad a decade ago, then this is nothing new. It's not. Yes, it's bad. Yes, it'd be better if it didn't happen, but it's called climate. And politics. God, politics. Don't get me started. Richard Williams, good morning. Good morning, everyone. You're in Georgia. McCaysville, Georgia. I walked across the street. Wow, Copper Hill, Tennessee must be on the Georgia border. Well, good morning from McCaysville, Georgia. Oh, a little variety today. Harry Dion, good morning from Northern California. Good morning. Francine, hi, Francine. Hot coffee today, Francine. Always a pleasure to see you. And Susan Ivy's here. Good morning. We are up to 106 people. I think we get more attendance at 8:30. I think there are more people that are early birds that are used to being here. But this is not bad. Not bad for a start. We'll see where it goes. Smoothie 420. 916. Boyd Lamb 922. Hi, Boyd. Been up since 3:30 Texas time. Forgot if I've waved at you. No, haven't seen you yet. Sandy Blythe is here. How you doing? Tuka chimed back in again this morning at 9:37. Rick is here from Miami. Charger Mopar. Got 2 new tires on my van. Congratulations, Rick. Glad to hear that. Retired Rick is here. A lot of Ricks today. Lynn Gerber says, good morning from Deerfield Beach at 9:43. CB Carmack chimed in. I chimed in. And let's see. Is everybody here? Steve Studley says 10 degrees in Denver. Wow, it's tropical here compared to that. Holy cow. Claudia Burkick. How you doing? Claudia? Good morning, everyone, she says. And we're sneaking up. Jeff Johnson at 9:58. Good morning, Mitch. Great to be here with you all. Good morning, Jeff. Aaron is here. 9:59. Jumped the bell by a minute. Good morning, everyone. Last day of sardines for me. Thank goodness for that. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. You know how I feel about all of those crazy things that deviate from just what we should be doing normally every day. I think we'd be much better off. Everybody's always trying to come up with the magic method to fix everything in a big hurry. And, I'm different. We all know that. I'm different than virtually everybody out there, especially those of carnivores and ketovores and keto people on YouTube. No doubt about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about just how different I am here. When I get past 10 o'clock, you're welcoming it, everybody. William McCartney's here. How you doing, William? Good to see you. We're still at 9:59. Lori's Carnivore Story. How you doing? 9:59. Look at all the people jumping in. Bryce Hatch was here, 9:59, just checking for my daily dose of Mitch. I assume that's a good thing for you. Gary, no slow, good morning to you, 9:59. And Claudia Burchick again, 9:59. Everybody's trying to hit it right at 10. And Dan Galasso, good morning. It's like a horse race every morning here. Happy to see you all. And the winner, ding, 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 on the money, Robbie Autry. Good morning, Mitch, and all you misfits. Followed up at 10 o'clock by Tuka, Rick, Lori, Dan Galasso, Denise Kink, good morning to you. Don Schonger, good morning to you. Michael Pregler commented on the music right at 10 a.m. William McCartney right at 10 a.m. This is all 10 a.m. Last one, Carnivorous Cat Mom at 10 a.m. The rest of you were officially a minute late, starting with Smoothie and moving down from there. And from there in the chat, what I will do is I will start looking for questions. I'm kind of glancing over here at the chat. Okay, we got some people over in Rumble. Let me say hi to them real quick. Mike Seeley, greetings from Tampa Bay. Jose Prophet, hi. Hey, Mitch, I'm here. Forgot to say hello, Jose Prophet and Mike Seeley. 2 people chatting over there in Rumble and 10 people watching. Okay, we have officially started. I have dispatched that entire thing in 15 minutes. Super, super. Put QQQ in the chat before a question. If you have a question, put QQQ in there. Start putting them in there now. It would help me rather than at the very end. I know sometimes questions come to mind based on what we're talking about or maybe somebody else's question. But do that if you would. And Tanya bought me a coffee. Well, thank you, Tanya. Aren't you sweet? And Peter Desmere bought me a coffee earlier. Thank you. Tanya says, I'm at work, but will be listening. Very nice of you. Thank you. Thank you. Tanya has become a tremendous supporter of what we do here, and I truly appreciate it. And I'll stick that link in there like I always do. You know what to do with it. I don't have to tell you, and I don't have to tell you why. But I will tell you that I always appreciate that, and it all helps. It all helps. YouTube, in their infinite wisdom, demonetized my live stream last night. Now, those of you that were in the live stream, I can't for the life of me figure out why they said it wasn't suitable for their advertisers. They didn't give me a strike or anything, but they basically said limited revenue. So that means that what I would normally make in advertising revenue on a live stream without mid-roll ads would be about $4, $4. They would, I'm not likely to get any of that. Maybe $1. Maybe there's some advertiser. Are we really that politically incorrect and dangerous in the things that we talk about? Did we talk about anything on that live stream last night? We talked about Greg Smith's truck problems. We listened to Tina talk about all her health problems she's been through. We did not demonize the drug companies. We didn't. I can't imagine we would offend any advertiser. Something in YouTube's algorithm made the decision. Are we being scrutinized that closely? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It's so disheartening. So disheartening to me. When I saw that last night, I went, oh, now what? Now what? What did I say now? Can I really be that careful? Or should I just not worry about making any money from Google, period, and just do what I want to do? Because I'm going to do what I want to do. And that's why these coffees and the super chats and using my Amazon links is so important to me, because I'm public enemy number 1 trying to help people. Very, very frustrating. Very frustrating. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Let me go back here to my show notes and actually talk about things that I want to talk about. Okay, tomorrow morning I will be also at 10 o'clock because of my annual physical at the VA, and I'll report on that. Just another mention of a meetup, January 28th, Tuesday, here at the Brazilian Steakhouse, 11:30 in the morning in Melbourne. Gmail me, email me, please, if you think you're going to come, so we know. So far, I haven't heard from anybody. Maybe nobody can come. We need to know that. Maybe it'll just be Mike Seeley Sr. and I just meeting for lunch, not even a real meetup or anything. But I hope. Peter said he's working. He can't come. I don't know about Mark Boos. I don't know about Jerry Voitush up there. And they were the ones that came down last time, and we went to the cigar lounge afterwards. But please think about it. You won't regret it if you come. Hopefully everybody will get the message. I want to talk a little bit about the moderator business. Not extensively, but I want to talk about it quickly. Basically, having a moderator in the chat doesn't help me one little bit. What a moderator's job is in YouTube, a moderator is just another user, just another person chatting away, and Ellen will tell you this. Ellen's here. Hi, Ellen. Good to see you. I'm talking about moderators, Ellen. A moderator is somebody that has the power to occasionally approve something that gets held for review and put somebody in a timeout or block somebody in the chat. And the main purpose is to stop trolls who come in to so many live streams and constantly just disrupt things. They're gross. They're just troublemakers. And if you can ever imagine doing what I'm doing and trying to be entertaining and trying to interact with your audience, you can't read every chat. And some of these trolls just get away with it and disrupt everything until I notice it or somebody brings it to my attention and I block them. But a moderator is there mainly for that reason. Second thing a moderator does is maybe know so many of the answers that I know, and this is where Ken Berry uses them, and he calls them coaches, even though they're moderators. They get the wrench, and they try to take some of the load off of the host on a really busy stream with a lot of questions and a lot of chats. Now, my live streams are nowhere near as busy as Ken Berry's, but I am busier most of the time than a one-arm paper hanger doing this. But the reason that Ellen was the most helpful to me was that she was able to communicate with me real time because she was in here with me. That was the real value that I had as a moderator, and Ellen can't do it anymore. Tuka last night said he wanted to be a moderator. It would do me no good, Tuka. No good at all. You can just as easily point out questions that I missed, like you did last night on the stream, but you have to be here live with me to do that. And I've decided that hopefully Ellen will be able to do it again sometime in the future. But until then, I am going to run with no moderators because there's a downside to giving people blue wrenches. Everybody wants one. I can tell you this for a fact. Everybody wants one. And then they get mad at you when you won't give them one. And then if they abuse the privilege and start blocking people and doing that, then you got to take the wrench away. And now you've made an enemy. It's not worth it, my friends. None of us here, not even me, are any better or more important than any other of us. And the way that I can keep that and maintain it is not to appoint moderators. We have a private community. Those people are in green. They're great people. I love the fact that they're in the private community, but believe me, I don't view them as any better than anybody else. It has to be that way. Everybody's questions are important to me. And I do the best I can. I do the best I can and stay here longer than I probably should every morning to make sure I get to every one of those things. Make sure I get to every one of those things. So I hope you understand that, Tuka. I appreciated you pointing those things out to me last night. But sometimes things just get so confusing here, and things are coming at me from so many different directions. I don't do it justice, and I want to do the best I can. You're a great friend, and I love you, guy. So, and I'm glad. I think you understand by your first two chats this morning or last night. So, thanks for offering. But I wanted you to know, and I wanted everybody to know, because I've been asked by a number of people already. I want to be a moderator. Well, we don't have a caste system here. There's no first class and coach on the morning coffee flight with Mitch every day. So I hope that settles that. I think it needed to be said. I told you the thing. I'm different. I'm a different kind of YouTuber. I don't see anybody else on YouTube that is anything like me. I'm proud of that in a reason, but I've always been different. Everything I've done. I've opened my life up to you guys. You know everything about me. I've told my entire life story many times. The ups, the downs, and there have been a lot of both. I share intimate things about my life with you guys. So because I want you to know me, because the main purpose of what I do here is to show you that what's so hard for you is not impossible. And if you can manage to follow a few really basic rules and not overcomplicate it and not try to micromanage it, it will take care of itself in time and fix you. But you have to believe that. And the only way I can get you to believe it is be an example and show you the results, which is why I started doing this. I said to myself, there's nobody my age out there that's proving to people how well it works. That gives me an advantage in credibility. But part of being an open and honest individual with a conscience and sharing your life is that I tend to share everything. And since my life right now is dominated by this YouTube adventure and the frustrations of dealing with the big tech and trying to earn a few bucks at this and taking a course because it's the right course to help people in the best way I know how, I keep handicapping myself when it comes to earning revenue and growing the channel. So I share my YouTube adventures with you too, and I talk about what it's like doing this stuff. Because that's just who I am. That's just who I am. I share my trials and tribulations as well as my successes and my happiness, of which I've got a great deal these days. I've got a great deal. I've got all of you guys. I've got a purpose other than just being retired and sitting waiting to die. And for that, I thank you all. But when I talk about YouTube, just understand that this is I'm sharing my life with you here every morning, and this is a big part of my life, especially, and you guys are involved in it. And I hope that by me sharing some of the back end things that go on and the frustrations and the trials and tribulations of dealing with the big tech monster that is YouTube, maybe you'll gain more appreciation for all of those others in this space that I know, because I've talked to many of them, are going through exactly the same thing on a day-to-day basis, and wake up every morning saying to themselves, why the hell do I put myself through this? I just wanted you to know that. I wanted you to know that. I think that's basically all I got with the show notes. Saw a thing on the news this morning that they're worried about cats getting the avian flu. I told you this morning that I would give you the morning Sam's Club egg report. And this is it. Can you see that? You can't see that. Oh, no. Oh, no. I should have put it up on the computer. Should have put it on a computer. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Hang on. Let me get it onto the computer. Oh, can't believe it. All right. I will get that for you in a second. I have to email it to myself from my cell phone to do that. Okay. Let's see if I can show you that picture. Let me see if I can show you that picture. It sent it, but I haven't gotten it yet. Come on. Email. All right, I'll keep trying. It hasn't come yet. I can't believe it. I know I sent it. Why hasn't it come? Oh, well. Okay, I'll get to that. If I don't get to that, I'll show you tomorrow. Basically, they did have eggs. They only had one kind of eggs today. They had, moderate supply, but nowhere near the amount of eggs that they generally carry. And they had the cage-free eggs. They're white. They come 2 dozen to a flat. They're $7 and change per flat, which means they're about 3 something a dozen, 3.5 or more a dozen. I usually buy the pasture-raised eggs, which are pretty much just, they're about $5 for 1.5 dozen, so they're about the same price. Cage-free doesn't mean anything, even they're pasture-raised. But I know in the pasture-raised eggs I buy at Sam's, they're brown eggs with a little more orangish yolk. And the cage-free eggs are white eggs, and the yolk is a little lighter yellow of a color. But they did have eggs, and the prices were pretty much in line with what they were, which wasn't bad. I also bought some chicken thighs for $1.30 something a pound, which might have been 10 or 20 cents a pound more than they were the last time, but they were cheap as well. No markdown meat that I wanted to buy that I see. So I didn't buy any markdown meat, but I did buy pork rinds and a bunch of other things, but I didn't buy nearly as much as I thought I was going to buy at Sam's Club this morning. What I don't understand is why I didn't get that picture. Well, buckle up, kiddies, for the long haul. Let me see why I didn't get that. Oh, because it didn't send. Now it's sent. Okay. It was waiting for me. I didn't put a subject in, and it wanted to know, do you really want to send this email without a subject? Yeah, here it is. Okay, let me bring it up to on the screen, and let me show it to you. There it goes. That's what they had as far as eggs at Sam's Club. Usually those racks are up, way up. Even the top rack is full. So that was it. That was it. And I was there first through the door this morning. Foot race to the markdown meat. They had a lot of markdown meat, but it was not meat that I buy. I didn't get to look at, like Greg suggested, at the primal cuts and all that other stuff, and I didn't get to look. I looked cursively for beef cheeks. I didn't see any of them, which another viewer said I should buy and pressure cook. So it was a typical Sam. Spent $100 by the time I got done. Bought some smoked salmon, bought a 10-pound thing of 80-20 ground beef, pork rinds and things like that. can never get out of there for less than $100. At any rate, that was the egg report, the morning egg report, live from Melbourne, Florida. Good deal. Okay, that's enough talking about stuff. That's enough talking about stuff. Throw my Buy Me a Coffee link in there again. And let's get back to the chat and see what's going on. We do have some good attendance. Wow. We have 145 people. Not bad. Hopefully maybe some of the people out west actually like this little later stream. Okay, I left off at about 10 o'clock, and let's see who was new and if anybody asked any questions. I'm looking, give it a cursive look to this chat over here, and that's the chat. And I mean, I can pick out QQQs from that real quick, much faster than I can, but I can't show them on the screen from here. That's the problem. But I don't see a single question in there. Don't see a single question. Ellen says, and now I'm slacking. Who knows what the future holds? I'm hanging in there with you, Ellen. I'm hanging in there with you. I love it. I'd hate to lose you, so I'm doing it. We're hanging in there. So I don't see any questions. Nobody's got questions this morning. Wow, look at that. But this is what I have to look through, guys, just so you know. This is what I have to look through. Okay, let me just continue on. Let's, I'll just interact with you till I find a question. And Seasay is here. Seasay. Good morning, Mitch. How was your Sam's Club shopping expedition? I just told you about that. And Kathy's here, Florida. How you doing? Anybody new? Danny in Boston's here. Good morning to you. Greg Smith. Hey, Greg, good morning. How are you, my friend? I hope you picked up a load so you can make some money on this little adventure you've been on, or your truck broke down. Most of you already know about that. And Peter, thank you for the coffee this morning, Peter. Welcome from up there in Canada. Good to see you. Marcia Budin says good morning. Good morning to you. And Steve Rogers, Captain America from Kansas City, Missouri. Always good to see you. Mama Bear chimed in. Hi, Mama Bear. How are you? Saw a story on the news this morning. Did I say this already about cats? There's they're giving people warnings out in California, I think it is, to keep their cats inside because they're panicking over the fact that the cats are catching the bird flu. That's the crisis of the morning. Okay, Peter Kruger from South Africa. Good morning, Peter. Good to see you. Great to see you. Anybody that comes all the way from South Africa deserves a nice shout out. DS111 is here. Hey, my friend, how are you? Out with the old, in with the new. Just cleaned the cat box. Well, sometimes just doing little chores like that makes you feel more organized. They say that if you feel like your life's in chaos, everything around you's turmoil, you've lost control, go into your bedroom and rearrange your entire closet and make it really neat. And that little sense of order that you've just accomplished will go miles towards calming you down and bringing you back to reality and making you feel like not everything is in turmoil. Seriously, I didn't invent that. I heard that a long time ago, and I've done it a few times. Just find something that needs to be reorganized, and just reorganize it. And just reorganize it, and it just does wonders and calms you down. And we have Bob. Nagesh Eldridge. Bob, how you doing? Greetings from Edmonton, Canada. I'm going skiing today. There's probably enough snow for that. Have fun. Have fun and be careful. Don't break anything. Graceful Lily is here. How you doing, Lily? Good morning to you. Peter chimed back in and says, hi, everyone. And I'm up to 10:10, so I'm 30 minutes behind. Right where I usually am. And let me look over on the right there, the left rather, and see if I see a bunch of any cues. Maybe I could jump to a question. Here, I see one. Laurie's. Oh. QQQ, Mitch, not a question. A request for you to do one of your mock news announcement videos again. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind. This is turning out to be a very strange week for me. So I did want to go over my schedule with you. I'll take this opportunity to do that real quick. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock, I have an appointment at the VA. Today I have chores, things I've been putting off for months. I just need some time away from YouTube, which means that I probably won't be making maybe one, but standalone videos this week. I'll be doing all the live streams, but I doubt that I'll be having the time to film, edit, upload, and do all that stuff. That's hours and hours, and I have got so much stuff to do. I still have to deal with the plumbing problems I have. Sunday, I'm going over to see my daughter in Tampa, so there will not be a morning coffee with Mitch. That will be scheduled on Monday, but I really plan to pop on sometime, so watch out. And it'll be very informal, probably from my cell phone, but at least, because a day without you guys for me is like a day without sunshine. So sometime Sunday morning, I will probably pop up, probably for 10, 15 minutes, probably from my daughter's house in Tampa. And because I leave the house here at like 5 o'clock in the morning. It's a great time to drive between here and there without traffic is 5 o'clock Sunday morning. Get there about 8 o'clock in the morning in time to spend the full day with my kids. Head out head out 6, 7 o'clock at night and drive back. And that's 6 hours of driving for that visit. And sometime, maybe even twice, I'll pop up with a live stream. Monday morning will be back to normal, 8:30 again. Tomorrow morning, 10. Friday and Saturday morning will be 8:30, and probably little or no other YouTube activity from me other than the morning live streams, which is more than most people do anyway, but not something that benefits my channel hardly at all. Only the standalone videos really contribute to any growth here. Again, more YouTube talk. So I did want to say that, but that's the only QQQ I saw over there. So I'll just keep going. We got about 15 minutes left. If we finish early today, that'd be okay. That'd be okay. And where was I? Danny, Booby Goats, Rick, Michael Pregler, Booby Goats, Bob. That's where I was, right there. Okay. Everybody's talking to each other. Hell, you don't need me. You don't need me. I could actually take a break. I even have a window for that. It's that. I could go away. I could play some music like this. And we could have an intermission. But we're not going to have an intermission. We're not going to have an intermission. We're going to sip on our coffee. And I'm going to try to read the chat and see if there's anything I might not want to comment on. Meatup says the flora and fauna in California require fire to propagate seeds. Nothing to do with climate change. No, it's just nature. It's nature. If it wasn't for the fact that fire appeared spontaneously from lightning or something, we wouldn't be cooking anything these days. Had to start somewhere. No. The only thing that's certain about climate change is that climate has changed, is changing, and will continue to change until in about 4 billion years, the sun burns out, expands, engulfs the earth, and it's all over. It's all over for our little adventure here. I doubt humans will make it that far because the climate is going to get a hell of a lot wilder as the sun becomes a red giant. So right now we're affected by the sunspots and everything else. They have things called the Milankovitch cycles, which are almost 100-year cycles of the confluence of certain events which cause ups and downs in temperature, tropical to ice age, back to tropical. Actually, we are still in that cycle in the process of warming from the last ice age. So nobody should be surprised that, yes, every 100 years, we're going to see a percentage of a degree Celsius increase in temperatures. Man is probably affecting it a little bit, of course, but not the major driver. And anything we do is not going to slow it down appreciably. It is politics and propaganda. 100%. And yet it will not go away. It's still the reason why they want to do away with cows, because they fart methane. Or burp methane, yeah. Haven't seen any changes yet. I did say that something very surprising happened. I think Mark Zuckerberg, king of woke, liberal, tech censor, I think he's growing up. I think he's growing up. He's starting to make noises like common sense. He announced that they're going to cut way back on the fact checking on Facebook. Wow. Fact checking is just another word for propaganda, political propaganda. That's got nothing to do with what's fact or not. He's cutting back on that. He visited Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. But yesterday, what's his name? I forgot his name because I'm not an MMA fan. But the conservative as hell friend of Donald Trump just got appointed to the board of Facebook because he's become a hero of Zuckerberg, who is now becoming a jock at this point in his life. He's metamorphosizing from skinny nerd, woke computer guy into a jock. Now he's getting in shape. He's working out. And I heard that he's eating a lot of meat. Imagine that. Mark Zuckerberg moving towards carnivore and seeing the results. He's taking jiu-jitsu. He's becoming a martial artist now. Next thing you know, the guy will be a conservative. Wow. It's incredible to see. I was so elated to see that this morning. What the hell is that guy's name? I forgot. I never knew who he was anyway until right before the election. The head of the, not Vince McMahon, but there's another guy who is a real influencer behind the scenes. And there was a picture of him kind of half hugging Mark Zuckerberg appointed to the board of directors. Wow. So there is hope yet. X has turned around. Twitter's turned around because of Elon. If we get Facebook to turn around, maybe this crap will slow down and social media just won't be a cesspool of wokeness like it's been in all areas, especially diet. And maybe on YouTube, maybe Google will get the word and they'll stop banning us and considering us dangerous and deniers and spewing misinformation when we tell people that we're supposed to eat meat and not plants. God, it's encouraging to see a little change, but I have to stay healthy. I better stay healthy if I'm going to live long enough to see it actually come to fruition, because it's going to take years and years and years. There's too much momentum in the wrong direction right now. Everybody uses the analogy of turning a cruise ship around. It's true. It's true. Takes a long time just to slow it down to the point where you can stop it, rotate it around, and start accelerating in the other direction, which will take years and years and years too. Too much damage done. Sherry Morgan is here. Hiya, Sherry, love and light from California. Always good to see you. Always good to see you. And Lat's in the house. Hiya, Lat. How you doing? Here's a YouTube comment. Dan Galasso, you know, I write and release original music on my YouTube channel through DiscRekid. Writing and releasing is cathartic, but the response or lack thereof to the stuff I write can be demoralizing. It is very demoralizing when you put poor passion into a project. You work your ass off. You spend the time and the energy in the hopes that it may pay off and help somebody, and then you get no views or very few views. You may have noticed the turnover in YouTubers, other than a very few, is incredible. They come and they go. Or they come and they go for a while and then they come back. There's a couple of them now that are coming back that have been gone for months and months and months and months. I'm not going to mention names. But when you do that, it's almost like starting over. It's almost like starting. You got to maintain a presence, if nothing else. And that's why I like doing this daily thing. Because even if I don't have the time or enthusiasm to work that hard so that I can make $4 on a video in ad revenue, and then see them take those things away from me as well. The propensity for most of us here is to say, you know, this is a waste of time. I need to go out and earn a living, not doing this kind of stuff. Anyway, I don't want to be a downer because I do love this and I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm a happy guy. Yes. My life is good. My life is good. I have what I need. I'm healthy. I feel good. I feel good. We all have frustrations. You can't go through life without frustrations. And I don't mean to be a downer, because you guys don't come here to hear my problems, which aren't really that great, really. I wish I could find a decent plumber, but other than that, life is good. Life is good for me. And when I say, if I was any better, it'd be illegal, I mean it. I mean it. I mean it, friends. I mean it. I mean it. I do these things. Believe it or not, it motivates me as much as it motivates you, hopefully. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here. Ellen, this is where she chimed in, I guess. I'm really far behind. 10:20. No, still about a half an hour behind. Let me go. Let me hurry up. And my phone went ding. What could it be? What could it be? Buy me a coffee. Seaside bought me 3 coffees. Thank you so much, sweetie. Thank you so much. And she says, good luck with your physical tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully I won't need luck. Hopefully I've got it pretty well covered. I think I'm fine. I do this primarily. I can keep track of my own health. I want to get the blood work. I didn't get it yet, but I will. I'm not worried about any of that. I know that there are certain things that always come in outside the normal range, because the normal range is the normal range for people who are sugar burners. When you become a fat burner, a lot of your physiology starts working different, especially your cholesterol. And that's where the real sore point is. And my doctor, I go in there, and it rather than a physical for me, it's usually a 1 hour lecture for her about all the new stuff that I've discovered that's actually real, and she's interested in that stuff. Doesn't force anything on me. And I enjoy seeing her every year. And she gets to see me be healthier and healthier and thinner and more fit every year, because she remembers me. She remembers me. She's been with me for 8, 9 years. She was with me through severe rheumatoid arthritis. She remembers the tremendous pain I was in. She remembers trying to keep getting my hypertension under control. She remembers the back pain and the joint pain that went along with the arthritis. She remembers the kidney stones that plagued me and kept getting worse and worse, because I was eating all the superfoods they recommended, the spinach, the almonds, the dark chocolate, all those high oxalate foods. And she has seen with her own eyes, while 99% plus of her other patients that are even within 10, 15 years of my age continue to deteriorate and get worse and worse every year. She's watching me be reborn, basically. High cholesterol and all. And if she's got a half a brain in her head, she'll understand that I know what I'm talking about, and that she's been fed a raft of stuff throughout her whole education. It's a shame. And it's really a shame. And the good news is that more and more medical professionals, not a whole lot of them yet, but one by one, they're waking up to the fact, like Ken Berry did 10, 15 years ago, that they're not helping a soul. They're just contributing to the problem. They can't even help themselves if they follow their own advice. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Wow, no questions today. Holy cow. Maybe I should come in here one day and just ask you guys questions. Ha. Put you on the spot and see how you like it. Let's see here. Everybody's just talking away. Here we go. Chicken shanty. Question, Mitch, I own a chicken restaurant. Have stage 3 cancer. Carnivore. What is the best way to promote the carnivore diet in my restaurant? Want to change the world one chicken at a time. Well, you're already... One thing I've learned after a year and a half of doing this YouTube stuff is that you can't change, nobody can change the world. Nobody. Not Ken Berry, not Sean Baker, not all of these people that have tremendous reach are doing big things. Sean Baker's got Rivero Health. They're trying to rebuild the healthcare system. Very ambitious project. How's that going for them? I don't know. I still haven't seen it anywhere. I haven't tuned in to the morning news here in Florida and seen anything about Rivero Health. The only time I've ever heard about it is from Sean Baker's mouth. Ken Berry is embarked on an ambitious project. The American Diabetes Society. We're going to take over from the American Diabetes Association. Raising money, spending money, going through all of the nonprofit paperwork, 503c stuff, forming corporations, boards of trying to do it right, having websites built, all of that stuff I haven't seen yet. Now, these things will come to fruition in time, but the world is not changing because of any of those things. You got to start somewhere, and I admire these guys for doing that. Curry Mann started out a year and a half ago to make a movie that was going to shock the world, revealing this huge problem that we have. When he started that, I admired him. People donated tons of money to that project. We're all going to save the world. The only difference between me and all those people is I already did that. I did that 22 years ago when I spent the tremendous amount of time and energy writing a book called Taming the Beast Within. Because the answers that I had in that book, as far as I was concerned back then, naive that I was, were going to save the world. Wow, I said, Mitch, I've discovered all this stuff. I know where all the bad behavior in humans come from. I understand how the brain works and the subconscious works. I know the biology. I spent a lifetime learning that stuff and putting pieces together. I have the answer. It's going to save the world. I did all the work. Nothing. Nobody cared. Nobody would publish it. No publisher would publish it. I had to self-publish it. I had to buy, with my own money, thousands of copies that I could give away just so people might read it. And I'm still giving that book away today. You join my private community. In the description of every one of our live streams, there's a link where you can download a free PDF copy of it. It's on Amazon, and, people buy a copy every once in a while. I don't want people to buy a copy. I'd rather give it to them. And all the time, and all the years that Amazon has sold that, and the publisher, Trafford Publishing in Canada, with all the copies that they did, so I have never seen 1 penny of royalty, not one. Not 1 penny. I've tried to figure out where's the money going from the books that have been sold. Never got a penny. I would rather give it away. But I did what these guys are trying to do. I started out with lofty goals to change the world and found out, forget about it. People are set in their ways, trying to change people's diet. And this is where it comes back to you, Chicken Shanny, with your restaurant. You cannot convince your diners to be carnivore. All you will do if you try to push it on them is lose a customer, because they don't want to be lectured. They want to come in for your delicious chicken. But by serving them chicken and cooking it in the most healthy manner that you can, you are doing some good. And that's the good you're doing. By not frying chicken in canola oil, for example, you're doing good. If you're frying it in tallow, you're doing good. They may come at you and say, you're hurting people, you're dangerous, but you know in your heart that you're serving a healthier chicken. Cut back maybe on some of the seasonings. But people want that stuff. That's just it. They're addicted to the harmful stuff. And that overrides all logic and common sense. Because even those people that are sick and fat and want to lose weight can't override their addictions. And their addictions drive their every decision. And the most important decision that drives is, what weight loss regimen can I go on? And when you describe carnivore to people, they go, you are flaming nuts. The thing you need to focus on in your restaurant, having been a restaurant owner, is not saving the world. It's making money. Otherwise, you won't have a restaurant, and it'll all be an exercise in futility. And in your heart, know that you can maybe guide these people, maybe come up with side dishes and dishes that have less carbs. But remember, when people eat those things, it's not going to satisfy that addiction, so they're not going to like it as much, which means they'll have a lesser opinion of your restaurant. You have to give them the crap they're addicted to, or they will not come back. They'll go somewhere else to feed that addiction. And since that's what everybody in this country is doing, they're not feeding themselves, they're feeding their addiction. And none of us individually are in a position to change the world in that respect until many, many, many things happen first. And the first thing that needs to happen before anybody can start fighting this is people need to accept the fact that it is an addiction. If you can't get people to believe they're carb addicts, it's like trying to help an alcoholic who's adamant and firm. I'm not an alcoholic. I could stop anytime. You can't help those people. So do the best you can. Do the best you can. At least you're serving meat. That's more than most people are doing in their restaurants, trying to fit in with all the dietary guidelines and serving pastas and vegetables and fruits and using seed oils to cook everything. So you're already doing more than most. Anyway, that's a great question. That's a great question, but a complicated one, man. A lot of factors come into play with that. People ask me many times, hey, Mitch, how do you think a carnivore restaurant would go over? I said, not a chance in hell of it doing any business. There's not enough carnivores who know what it is, who are willing to go without all the addictive stuff within 100 square miles in any geographical location to even begin to support a business like that. And in order to make any money, you'd have to have every carnivore within 100 miles come every day and eat all their meals there. And you'd have to charge a lot of money for it because the cost of food. Look, you serve chicken in your restaurant. Imagine if you were serving prime rib and seafood. You'd have to charge $50 a meal. You know the economics of the restaurant business. You know how much, what your cost of food has to be. It's got to be below 30%. How the hell could you do that with ribeyes? Wouldn't work. No market for it. Zero. There's not even a real market for vegan restaurants, to tell you the truth. Some people try it. Yeah, if you're in Berkeley, California with a bunch of wokeness surrounding you, yeah, you might get away with that. But you need a customer base with money. Restaurant business is the toughest business I was ever in, and I was in it at the wrong time, too. It's another story for another day. I've told it already. Anyway, great question. Thanks. Give me a little rabbit hole to dive down this morning. And I love doing that. And hell, we have gotten into overtime. So how about that? And it looks like... No, I thought I may have had another coffee, but I didn't. It was just some other notification I don't need to worry about. My phone goes off a lot. Okay, if I have to, I'll put a link in there again for you. Again, don't feel guilty if you don't. But I've learned, unless I put that link in there, nobody thinks about it. And I think about it. Let's see here. Sandy Blythe, here we go. Talking to Ellen. I'm doing great. 9 weeks in, staying strong. Sandy, that's great to hear. Great. Just great to hear. Lori says, thank you for letting us in your personal space every day, Mitch. You're very welcome, Lori. Thank you for bringing me into your personal spaces every day. Appreciate it. And Kathy has got a little hint, a little tip for chicken shanty. Maybe you could put some chicken carnivore items on your menu, like chicken thighs with skin on, baked or sauteed in butter. You could do that. It'd be fun to try. You may already have that on there. But I imagine most people, they like rotisserie chicken because they sure buy them at Costco and Sam's, but they buy them for $5. There's no money to be made in that, not in a restaurant. People like fried chicken. No shortage of KFCs or Churches or any of these other fried chicken joints. But roast chicken, Kenny Rogers, are they still in business? I know they tried it. I don't know how big that went over. It's got to feed that addiction. And most people don't know what carnivore is. Maybe it might even be better just to sneak them a carnivore meal and not tell them what it is, because you're doing them a big favor. I don't know. I don't know where you are. I don't know what the crowd is around you. I don't know, whether people would be open to it, what kind of area you're in politically, whether people have common sense where you are, whether they're just young college kids who don't give a shit about anything because they're immortal at that stage in their life, and we don't need to worry about what happens to us when we get older. That's 1,000,000 years from now. Yeah. Wait till you get there, my friend. You'll find out that 1,000,000 years seemed like about a week and a half. Sherry's hanging in there. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here, Sherry. I'm glad you're here, Sherry. And tomorrow it's going to be late, too, so come back. Come back. And I'm still looking for questions. I'm at 10:34. I am still a half an hour behind. I need to start going. Here's something. Yes, Laurie's carnivore story question. Not a question or request. Okay, I already saw that last week in the other chat. Seems like a week ago. All right, I have to really run through this. Here we go. Mitch, what would be an alternative name for carnivore? Just curious. Well, we talked about that once. We talked about that. Carnivore, that was coined as a diet by Sean Baker when he wrote the book, The Carnivore Diet. A carnarian? A carnarian, maybe? You could come up with any name, but it wouldn't take at this point, because the first really obvious name for this, Sean Baker used, carnivore diet, and we've been talking about it as a carnivore diet for so long. It's become entrenched in the culture. And Ken Berry came along and with Nisha came up with the halfway point between keto and carnivore and called it ketovore, and we've kind of settled in there. A carnitarian would work. Carnitarian. Vegetarian, carnitarian, pescatarian. But carnitarian is already a thing. It's already a thing. If you Google carnitarian, let me see what happens when I Google carnitarian. CARNITARIAN, carnitarian, and it says, well, it does say here. It says, the term carnitarian refers to Linda Salant, a social media personality who advocates for the carnivore diet and coaches others on how to improve their health. Okay, so a carnitarian is somebody that encourages a carnivore diet. It's still a carnivore diet. A carnitarian is often confused with someone on the all-meat carnivore diet. Okay, so carnitarian is different. However, many people on the carnivore diet are carnitarians. So what is a carnitarian anyway? A carnitarian is someone who intentionally avoids eating seafood. So somebody's already coined that, and I had heard that before, but I had forgotten about it. What can carnitarians not eat? Fish or seafood. So a carnitarian is the opposite of a pescatarian, evidently, and that wouldn't be a good name. So your question is it's vexing. How can we come up with a name? How about a no plantitarian? Yeah, anything can end with Aryan, but I can't think of a better term than just saying carnivore because it says it all. Not only is it how we eat, but it's what we are. It's what we are. So interesting question. Interesting question. We've gone down that road, and I don't think we've ever actually solved it. Ed DLC is here. Haven't seen him before. Ed from Delaware. Worked from home this morning. Steak for breakfast. Good for you. Good for you. Welcome, Ed from Delaware. Good to see you. AP question. Mitch, are you allowed to have pets where you live? Yes, of course. Yeah, we can have pets. There's supposedly a limit to the size of the dog, but nobody pays any attention to that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could not get away with having a retirement community like this and not allow these people to have their little doggies. I will not have a pet anymore. I've had pets. I don't want the responsibility of it. I don't want the heartbreak of it. I don't want to have to walk it. I don't want to have to pick up behind it. To me, that is so demeaning. And I live without that so-called unconditional love, but I envy, I guess, a little bit the joy people get from their pets. I was a parrot guy. I was not a dog guy. I always loved birds, maybe because of my interest in aviation. And birds, especially the parrots that I had lifespans almost like humans. So you're less likely to lose them. But something always happened. My life changed. I had to get rid of it. And the one pet that I had that I thought I'd have and that would sing at my funeral was a Panama Amazon, kind of the inspiration behind the book that I wrote 22 years ago. Her name was Lolita. I named her Lolita. I raised her from a hatchling. I hand-fed her from a turkey baster. We bonded like hell. That bird was my best friend in the world until she reached her sexual maturity at 7 years old. And as sometimes happened in Paris, she became vicious. Vicious. Bit the shit out of me. I couldn't go near her without getting attacked, and I had to get rid of her. Broke my heart. At that point, I said, I'm done. No more animals. I've watched friends of mine's lives ruined when their dog died. They were so bonded with us. I said, I am not going to subject myself to that anymore. And I simplified something else in my life that I needed to worry about, take care of, be responsible for, and spend money on. So, but they do allow, that's a long answer to a short question, but yes, they do allow pets. And there are plenty of them around here. Fortunately, most of them are pretty quiet most of the time, except, as Sandy Bly says, yeah, Mitch's neighbor has a dog, yeah. But they're pretty good about it. That dog's a little yippy dog, barks his little brains out. They put him out on the front porch directly across from my house. And I'm out on my back patio, and I may as well have the dog right in there with me. Yip, 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 yip. And, but she's very cognizant of the fact that, the only time it really ever gets distracting to me, I know when the dog starts barking, she'll go get it and bring it in. One day she was tied up on the phone. That dog barked for more than an hour out there. I was ready to grab a shotgun, but I didn't, because I know them, and I know they're considerate people. It's the inconsiderate dog owners that deserve that end of a shotgun as far as I'm concerned. And I've lived next door to many of them in my lifetime. Many, many of them. I'm going down the chat. And there goes all hope of finishing anytime soon. But you're still all here. 136 of you are still hanging around, and Richard Williams says, keep Spank the monkey on the screen. Oh, you like Spanky, don't you? Yeah, you like Spanky. Where is Spanky here? There he is. Hiya, Spanky. How you doing, buddy? How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, it's my buddy Spanky. Honest to God, it's mesmerizing. You could sit there and watch that thing for days. He's just great. I'm afraid people, if I kept him on the screen all the time. You know why I don't use Spanky too much? Because when I first started doing a live stream, I brought Spanky in, and I got there was 2 or 3 people in their comments, get rid of the stupid monkey. The monkey has no business. Well, I should have known those people were assholes, but I respect everybody's opinion. I said, okay, no monkey. And I stopped using the monkey. But every once in a while, I bring him in to say hello. That's my pet. A very low maintenance pet, to say the least. Yes, sir. All righty. We have question here. A question from Sherry. Do your glasses have any blue light blocking or transition UV protection, or do you go outside? Do you ever put amber or red clip? No, I don't, Sherry. These are just basic transition lenses. So they get darker. But when I go outside to get morning sun, I always take them off. I don't want them in front of my eyes. Sometimes when I'm driving and I find that it's useful to have them tinted down. You can see even in these lights that are shining directly on my face, the two lights that are over the monitor, these 2 lights here that light my face here in the live stream, actually tint them just a little bit. And this, when I got these new glasses, I wrestled with the fact, do I want to get no tint? But no, I don't have a problem with blue light. I have no trouble falling asleep. Some people do. I know Ellen is very sensitive to that. But for me, when I'm outside, most of the time, if I go outside and I'm not filming a walk, I'll take my glasses off and get the sun in my eyes. I think it's good for you. But no, I stare at screens all day. It is what it is. Life's complicated enough for me. But do I think it's a bad idea to be cognizant of that? Hell no. Hell no. I think there's a lot of validity to that. And a lot of people, it really does affect. But for some reason, I just cruise along. And you know me, my philosophy is, keep it simple, stupid. If I can make it simpler, I'll do it. As long as it keeps working. I just uncomplicate everything. I have, my life has been so complicated for so many years that it's just such a pleasure to simplify things. Unfortunately, I have a tendency to complicate things, like YouTube live streams and studios and in technology. But when it comes to my health now and my food and what I do during the day, simple. Good question. I don't know what Lisa Wiedemann and those guys say about that, but they're probably right with the things that they say. Ellen's asking me a question. AP asks if you're allowed to have... Oh, okay. There you go. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ellen says, what do you think of Trump appointing Dr. Oz? Well, I honestly have no opinion one way or the other. Because who really knows? It's the same thing with Dr. Phil. I mean, he got active in politics this time as a conservative, but these guys are in show business. You know, they're actors. There was always things of Oz. I remember so many days when he was just pushing the latest sponsor, whether it was good or not. And he's pushed his share of schemes as well. So as bad as he is, he's certainly probably a lot better than who we got in the job right now. So we'll see what happens. Let's see what he does. I don't have an opinion one way or the other on that one. So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Sandy says she doesn't care for Dr. Oz. I never cared much for him either, but he did run, he ran for senator and lost to Fetterman, who's turning out to actually be one of the few people on that side of the aisle that seems that, even though he dresses like a loser, he seems to actually have recovered from his stroke and has some common sense. He's not rabid like most of them are. I've seen him interviewed by a few conservative people, and honest to God, I was really surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays in government that he doesn't switch parties here in a few years if he keeps going. Yeah, and Graceful Lily said, yeah, Oz was always given the standard dietary advice, and it landed her in the hospital, yes. So everybody's going to think what they think, I suppose. That tells Peter that I have a video. Yeah, I do have an air fryer from frozen, steak from frozen video. It's out there. Finding harder and harder every day to say anything new that I haven't said before. Problem is, all the people that heard it before have moved on, and all the people that are here now weren't here when I said those things. So we keep repeating, much like a college professor does every time the semester starts again with a new class. If it wasn't for that, none of us have anything to say anymore. Looking for questions, 10:54, still 30 minutes behind. Crazy Horse has a question. VA doctor is sending me statins even though I told him not to, will not take them. Apparently I'm a walking heart attack. Yeah, and a bunch of numbers. Yeah, your triglycerides 94, HDL 80, LDL, you're perfect, man. Your numbers are perfect. I'm surprised the VA did that. I always thought their policy was not to force anything on anybody. If I were you, I would not want that on my records that you have received the pills. I would give them back and make sure they note that on there that you refuse to take them. You're not going to uningratiate yourself with the VA, but you will send your doctor a message if nothing else. Yeah, my doctor wouldn't dare do that. Just be a little more firm. Take them a study or two. Show them that people with your numbers, with your ratio, I assume you're healthy and you're thin, fall into a lean mass hyperresponder, and take them some of those studies from the Dave Feldman and Nick Norwood stuff. Take them the Oreo cookie versus statin study. Show them how that Oreo cookies are a much more effective way to lower cholesterol than statins. By eating poisonous, sugar-laden food that ruins your health, but your LDL goes down. Maybe one of these days, these people will actually understand that the lower the LDL, the worse your health is going to be. But boy, we are so far off. Lat says, would you give us homework so we can answer your questions? Yeah, and the Crazy Horse. All my blood work is better than the last 10 years, plus lost 80 pounds. I asked about a CAC test, and he said he would do that, but he doesn't want to. Yeah, told me to cut out eating meat. Yeah, this guy is a fool. He's a fool. If you can't get a new doctor at the VA, then just go in and say hi to him, let him talk, and do what you're going to do. Meanwhile, you're probably, your story of all of his patients at the VA, you're probably the one that is actually getting better over time instead of getting worse. Is this a young guy, an old guy? Yeah, I can't believe that these people are practicing medicine. They're practicing genocide is what they're practicing. Crazy. Jose Q, Mitch. What's your preferred coffee brand? What's your opinion on coffee? Well, we all know my opinion on coffee. Drink it if you got it. As long as there's no sugar or garbage or powdered dairy creamer or any crap in it. Put some heavy cream or butter in it if you got to put something in it. But I don't think it's harmful at all. I think that it's an individual thing, but most people who drink coffee don't see many bad effects from it. There are those that are telling you how bad it is, but believe me, the oldest men I know on the planet Earth, the oldest men, eat bacon and eggs for breakfast every day, smoke a bunch of cigars every day, and drink a shitload of coffee. Those are the people that are healthy and living the longest. Sometimes you got to open your eyes and just look around. They call that anecdotal evidence. It's around us everywhere. My favorite coffee, I just drink the K-Cup stuff from Sam's Club. I like the McCafe, the McDonald's brand, the best. But it's expensive. So when it goes on sale and I can buy it for, the same price as the cheap stuff, I'll buy 2 or 3 boxes of it and put it away. So I have plenty of that stuff stored away. But that's the kind of coffee that I like. And hope that answers your question. My opinion of coffee on carnivore is don't sweat the small stuff. If you like coffee, if it makes your life more pleasant, doesn't keep you up at night, if you're not drinking 20 cups of it a day with caffeine, the dose is in the poison, my friend, and a few cups of coffee doesn't have enough caffeine in it. I think it can help in certain ways. And there's just as many people out there who say coffee is good for you and caffeine is good for you as there are people who say it's bad. And everybody is completely adamant about their position, as adamant as I am about carnivore, and a vegan is adamant about eating plants. You got to consider the source, I guess, and make up your mind what you want to believe, because who among us really knows for sure? You know, who among us knows absolutely? We haven't lived long enough to see the results. Come back. Let's come back in 40 years. Okay, I'm going to be 80 here pretty soon. So if we take 40 years off, I keep doing what I'm doing, the vegans keep doing what they're doing, we'll come back, I'll be 120, and if I'm still alive and they're not, then we have proof. Multiply it by 100 or 200 people in a cohort for a study like that. So we would find 100 carnivores that are now near 80 and 100 vegans that are near 80. Somehow track us for 40 years. Assume we're continuing to do what we do. And at the end of 40 years, we'll take a roll call. Okay, all the vegans, raise your hand. Anyone? 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 All the carnivores, raise your hand. Yay! We're here. We're still alive. Does that mean we win? Well, it all depends how we decide to interpret the results of this study. And while one might think the carnivores won because you're the only one still alive, we haven't made our conclusions yet. And since we're funded by the drug companies and big food, you can pretty well rest assured our conclusion is going to say that a vegan is a healthier way to live. Sorry, that's how studies are done. Didn't you know? Are you naive? Do you think they really prove anything? Do you think they're anything other than a vehicle for us to express our agendas and make people believe that the things that make us the most money are the things that they need to be doing? Did you think that? Were you born yesterday? Yeah, that's reality, folks, unfortunately. So no, there are no studies one way or the other. There probably never will be. Unless you get guys like Dave Feldman with no funding from anybody with an agenda that are really true scientists. But poor little Dave Feldman with his crowdfunding and Nick Norwitz are not going to change the entire medical community, the medical staff at Tufts University, at Harvard University, and the news media that they are so well funding and supporting. Forget it. Which is why we're here. 128 of us trying to take care of ourselves, at least. Okay, you guys are still chatting up a storm. Wow, look at all the chat. Look at all the chat. 11:12. Wow, I'm catching up a little bit. 11:13. I'm trying. It's a good thing I got stamina, guys. Let's see. I tell you, I look at this chat, I see a lot of smart people. That's great. I see a lot of smart people here. There's some things that are being said. I think we were talking about the monkey, and there's a whole raft of chats. I told you already, Greg, my haul from Sam's Club was very disappointing. I didn't get any beef at all. I got just 10 pounds of hamburger, got some smoked salmon, some chicken thighs. I didn't see anything I liked, and I think I'm going to go to Costco one afternoon. They have everything at Costco. Sam's Club has stuff that I buy, but they're selection of beef in the morning, and they don't have all the different primal cuts. And I looked for beef cheeks, so somebody recommended. I couldn't find them. I didn't have the time nor the inclination this morning. I have so many other things on my mind and things that I had to do. I got some eggs. I did get some eggs, and I talked about that. They didn't have a lot of eggs, but they had the caged-free eggs at least anyway. So that was the story, and I showed the picture of the eggs. Brenda Foley says, I've seen 3 to 4 Dr. Boz AI overlays. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, that's another thing we got it. Artificial intelligence. Ah, this is cool. And I believe it. William McCartney says Fetterman is meat-based. How unliberal of him. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So I'm cruising, trying to grab a speed reading kind of idea of what you guys are talking about. I'm up to 11:29, only about coming in. Crazy Horse, another question. OldGuyCarnivore, he was a veterinarian about 10 years before becoming a PA. Okay, so he's not even a doctor. He's a physician's assistant at the VA. He's in his 60s and he knows what's best. Yeah. He probably killed a lot of dogs feeding them kibble, too. Guy's an idiot. Sorry. Hey, my doctor at the VA isn't even a PA. She's a nurse practitioner. But she's fairly smart, so she wouldn't dare pull on me what this guy pulled on you. That's crazy. Next time you go in there, so you're a veterinarian, huh? Are dogs carnivores or vegans? What are they? See how he answers that. You'll know what a fool he is. Do you feed your dog meat, or do you feed your dog kibble and grains and candy and ice cream? DS111, do you have a set number of hours between meals? I get hungry all day if I'm home and not at work. If you get hungry all day, you're not eating to satiety. You're not eating enough, I think. At least that's what happens to me. I don't ever get hungry, especially between meals. And I don't eat, I wait a minimum of 3 hours, preferably 4, between meals. But I don't ever get hungry enough to want to eat. So I don't know what you're eating. I don't know whether you're sneaking a few carbs in there, you're feeding your addiction a little bit, you're still running on sugar a little bit. I don't know anything about you. I know who you are. I mean, you're always here, but I don't even know your first name, how old you are, or anything. I'd like to get to know you. I wish the hell some of you guys, you know who you are, would come into the live stream on the nights that we have a panel, so I could get to meet you and put a face to the name. All I know you as, and you're a great guy and a great supporter of this channel, but to me, you're DS111 and you got a great sense of humor and you're smart. I know that about you. I'd like to know who you are. And then I could answer that question maybe more intelligently for you, or have something to use as an analogy for you. But great, good question though. And we're still cruising through it. And I got to the bottom. And Ellen puts a link up to a coffee promoting doc. Hope it's okay, Michelle. Of course, Ellen. Of course, even if you put one up to somebody who said coffee's no good. Everybody's entitled to hear both sides to an argument or a debate and make up their own mind. Problem is, if they're using biochemistry, like Huberman does that all the time. He talks in scientific terms, and people say, well, I believe him. Well, how do you know? You don't understand the biochemistry he's talking about. How do you know that he even knows what he's talking about? Don't sweat the small stuff is what I say. Drink a couple cups of coffee if you want to. If you want to. Just make sure you're not feeding your addiction in the process. And maybe you are a little bit addicted to caffeine. But caffeine doesn't give you diabetes. It doesn't put 100 pounds on you. It's okay for your body to need things. As far as I'm concerned, in small quantities, we can detoxify it. We've been detoxifying ourselves since the beginning of time. Anyway, that's great. And I got to the end of the chat, my friends. And the last says, William McCartney says, dumpster fire, Rick. So I must have missed something. Ellen, he's a urologist and says coffee drinking is good. He seems pretty knowledgeable about the coffee. Yes, I told you, you can find qualified people who should know what they're talking about, that are advocates for coffee, hopefully with no personal agenda or stock in Folgers Incorporated. You just never know. Everybody's got an opinion. You know what they say about opinions? It's true. They're like a-holes. Everybody's got one. So take it for what it's worth. I try to do that. And fortunately, in my brain, after a lifetime of curiosity, I have got some realities that I have proven to myself, not taking somebody else's word for, with which I can compare any new things that come along to and see if they fit. Do they fit or don't they? And then I can make maybe a more educated or experienced decision. It's not a matter of education. Having somebody else teach you something doesn't mean it's right. You have to learn everything for yourself. And that involves a lot of treasure hunting and sifting and analyzing and looking for things that make sense and fit into whatever version of reality you've managed to assemble up to this point in your life. Something that never stops growing. At least with me, it doesn't. I learn something every day. But the first thing that I do when I hear something that I see, does it fit with what I already believe? Or is this something that might make me actually change my mind and change my opinion on a certain thing, which I'm always eager to do when I'm convinced I was wrong. I'm the first guy who'll admit I was wrong. I joke about never being wrong, but none of us can go through life and never be wrong about something. The problem is most people can and will never admit when they're wrong because their entire life, their career, their reputation, and their income is tied to that wrong idea that they've been propagating all these years. And I always use Ken Berry as an example. He's the one guy that points that out, that most doctors, even if they know they're wrong, can't or won't give up their career and their income and their reputation and their legacy so they continue to propagate, which is why there's a saying in the scientific community that's as true as hell. And it is, science advances one funeral at a time. Think about that. These people have to die a natural death in order for the newer ideas to be able to take hold instead of the old wrong ideas that these esteemed elder long white coat scientists and doctors have been expounding all their life. Science advances one funeral at a time or one generation at a time. That's why nothing ever happens quick. That's why it took 100 years for us to get into this mess. No way out of it overnight. We're all damaged now. We're all carb addicted now. How do we fix that? First, by acknowledging that it is the problem. I'll be happy when that happens. Mitch, please put the date, place, and time of your next meetup in the show notes. Okay, I will do that. And I'll put it in there and leave it in there, and it'll be in the show notes of all these live streams. I might not get to it. I've got something I got to do as soon as I'm done here, and I should have been done here before now because I'm late. But I got to get going. At any rate, listen, guys, we're going to call it there at the end of the chat. Thank you so much for coming. Turned out to be an hour and 45-minute live stream today. Never fails. And you came through with the questions and kept me busy. So, my friends, a little happy music to exit to. And say your goodbyes in the chat. I will finish my coffee. And get on with my day. I probably won't see you or you won't see me. I'll read the comments to the videos, but I will probably be scarce the rest of today. No videos for today. I have so many things to do. So many things to do. I have a life too, and there's things that just pile up. Got to take some time away from YouTube. Imagine that. And let me check and see if anybody has bought me any more coffees. Cesay bought me some coffees. Thank you so much, Cesay. Appreciate that. Peter Desmere and Tanya. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate the vote of confidence and the support. All right, my friends. We'll let the music play me out. I think it's coming up on the end. Everybody's saying goodbye. Ellen, DS111, Aunt B, Charger Mopar, Lat, Smoothie 420, Paul McGrogan, Mike Seeley, Senior, Tom, Viking 442, Aunt B, Anna Korzawa, Claudia Burkitt, Rick, Charger Mopar, Sherry, thank you, sweetie. Thanks for hanging in there till the end. And Bryce Hatch, Danny in Boston, and everybody else. Everybody else. See you tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. Whoops, don't want to start that again. With stories of my physical and or lack thereof. And until then, take the rest of the day off. I'll see you at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning and eat meat.